Alright guys, in today's video, the latest drama from a foreigner, this time coming out of Mindanao, stuck with an alcoholic wife and back fines of 2 years and not able to get to the immigration to even pay it, even if he had the money. Stick around. Alright guys, so I'm a member of several different expat groups throughout the Philippines. I use it to find out information myself and to ask questions. And also I like to read some of the comments and posts just to learn different things and sometimes for amusement. Well, today was a little bit amusing. But at the same time, if this is really true, then I feel sorry for the guy. And in this video, really what I want to hear is from you guys on what do you think he could have done to avoid this situation. And I'll give my 2 cents too. Now, I don't know all the facts, and nor do you guys, so we can't completely, give 100% solid advice on what he should have done to avoid it. But just looking at it, I think there are some things that are pretty obvious that he could have done right from the beginning. But let's go ahead and look at the post. So the post says, I'm stuck in Romblon province, Minaropa, married to alcoholic Filipina, need to get out of here, but the fines are beyond my means. 2 years of lockdowns and 10 hours, if not 24, to get to the nearest immigration have killed me. I believe that there is a possibility from Mindanao to Borneo. Any advice? All right, so let's take a look at that. Now, number one, is he just finding out that she's an alcoholic? I don't know. I think there are pretty clear signs if somebody is an alcoholic. Now, for me, this falls on rushing into a relationship way too quickly. Now, again, maybe he got here right before the pandemic and maybe he decided to stay with her and he got stuck. That's possible, but the pandemic has been over for at least a good 6 months or so, maybe longer, where you could have freely traveled, around the Philippines to get out of that situation. So to me, that comes back to money. So let's take a look at that first. Money, if you would have had steady income coming in, if you would have had an emergency fund, then you could have protected yourself from things like this. Now, if you got into this situation where you don't even have the money to pay the back fees that are owed to immigration, because what has happened here, it sounds like, is he is so far away from an immigration office that he was just never went. That is part of the problem with living out in the province. I have a future video on that. But yeah, the province can be really beautiful and nice, but if you don't have plans of going into the city every couple months, things like this can happen. So yeah, if you live far away from an immigration office where you can get to one to renew, typically what they will do is allow you to do 6-month extensions. But also he should have been on a marriage visa too. And if he wasn't, well, he was spending a lot of extra money. So obviously this guy didn't have a steady monthly coming in. He didn't have an emergency fund, because even if something happened to his monthly income, if he would have had an emergency fund, he could have got himself back home or got out of the house and went somewhere. I'm also going back to the alcoholism. I truly believe if you take your time in a relationship, just because you're in the Philippines and all of a sudden you have a girl who's half your age, who is a 9 out of 10 that, maybe in the States or Australia, you were only dating a 5. And here all of a sudden, wow, I am dating this gorgeous girl. And she is just fun to be with, and she's beautiful. And a lot of guys end up rushing into these relationships. And I'm guilty myself. I'm not going to say I'm not guilty, but I've done it myself. But at least I had money. I had income coming in. I had an emergency fund that if something would happen, I got out of it. I certainly didn't get married within a few months. And again, I don't know how soon he got married. I don't know how long he's known this girl. I don't know if the alcoholism was there already or if maybe she acquired it just from the lockdowns and stress. I don't know. But what I can tell you is alcoholism, the signs are usually there. So if you are getting to know somebody and you're not rushing, you're going to know. I mean, is she waking up and taking shots of Tanduay? I mean, is she just before she goes to bed, is she drinking a Jack and Coke? I mean, the signs are usually there. Is she just drinking by herself, just to drink, or is she drinking just only to go out and when she has a good time? I don't know, but I am sure there must have been some signs. And how do you get to the point where you have no money? And again, if you get to that point where you have no money coming in, and maybe you're down to your last $1,000, $2,000, guess what? You need to get a ticket and you need to get yourself back to your home country. Why do you wait until things are at the absolute worst state that it could possibly be? You have $0. You don't even have transportation to an immigration office. You can't even get out. You become a prisoner. And that happens to a lot of people, that they actually can become stuck in the Philippines, and they end up being here illegally because they can't even pay their immigration fees, and they end up overstaying. And guess what? By the time they do get money again, if they do get money, they're going to end up probably being blacklisted or who knows what from all the penalties, and maybe they've overstayed the 3 years. I don't know. But all the situations are completely different. But for me, there's 3 areas of problems here. One, I have a feeling the guy probably moved way too fast if he had no idea that she was an alcoholic. And I don't know how fast the marriage took place. But again, if you would have slowed things down, I think you probably would have been okay. You would have recognized, okay, there's some drinking problems here. Maybe I'll continue to date her and hope that, and try to help her get better, but I'm not going to get married right away. 2, there must have been some money problems, either even beforehand that you thought maybe, well, I'll find a way to make money, or there'll be some way I can make money. Maybe I can get a job here or something. We've all seen that before on Paul's channel with John. In these stories, even though you don't see them on YouTube that often, they're not that uncommon. I talk to people all the time where I'm like, I talked to a guy a few weeks back that he literally was in dire straits. I mean, he ended up getting a job teaching English online, but he was down and out. His wife was running a Sorry Sorry store and keeping them afloat from the Sorry Sorry store. I mean, all of a sudden you're thrust into these new living conditions. You're living like a Filipino. You're living on like 20,000 pesos per month, perhaps, in a place with no aircon. You don't have hot water, and are these things horrible? No, I suppose a lot of us have lived in conditions like that. Maybe when you're in the military or something. But to get to this situation where 2 years of back penalties, you've probably overstayed now, and now you're going to have to go to the embassy to get help. And guess what? The embassy is not real quick about helping you. I have heard they will do loans, but there's a lot to it, and you have to get yourself to Manila. I don't think these things happen over the phone typically. I don't think they just send you money. I mean, maybe somebody can comment on it, but again, how do you get to this spot? I don't get it. I really don't. But I would love to hear the feedback from you guys. What can somebody do to protect yourself a little better? For me, slow the relationship way down. If you want to move fast in a relationship, that's okay, but you don't jump into the marriage part, or don't jump into moving in together immediately. And if you get down to your last funds, you need to get a ticket and go home and make things better again. Get the income coming back in, and then come back over here. You've got to have an emergency fund in case of some kind of medical emergency. I mean, that's why I carry travel medical insurance. For that reason alone too. And I protect myself as many different ways as I can. Multiple ways to get money if this card goes bad, you know, like the expires and I can't get a new one, or the bank eats my machine, my ATM card. I'm always like, okay, I'm down to just 2 ways to get money. I need to get a third, you know, like one way expired and I'm already working on getting another way. I've always got different ways to get money because I've been in situations here where my card's expired. The card didn't come for like 3 months. My emergency fund dried up and I was like in a panic. Even though I had a steady monthly income, I was like, wow, I can't believe I did this. This was when I first got here. And it took a little while to build that back up, but you've got to protect yourself, guys. In overseas in another country, you can't just wing it. And you can't rush into these relationships. I feel sorry for this guy. We don't know the whole story. This is just a small tidbit of what's going on here, but I'd like to hear your thoughts and comments on it. Again, I'm not claiming to be an expert on this. I'm just stating some of the obvious facts, I think, of things that you could have done to avoid this situation. Oh, and guys, by the way, if you want to help support my channel and you want access to 80 plus more videos, check out my Patreon account where you can get different levels of membership and different benefits according to which membership you choose. And also YouTube membership, where you can just click the join button under any of my videos and select a membership based on what benefits you want to receive. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.